We're joined now in studio. We're happy to have Ahmed Issak, or Issak Hassan, from the Interim Independent Electoral Commission. Thank you so much for making time to be here at this critical time, obviously for the country and for the Commission as well. Give us very quickly the schedule of events over the next few months.
Thank you very much, Julie, for inviting me. It's good to be back at the studios, very chic and state-of-the-art studio.
Thank you.
We are going to launch tomorrow nationwide voter registration exercise. We are going to open all the stations from 8 a.m. in the morning until afternoon, Monday to Friday.
Afternoon?
Up to 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
From Monday to Sunday, every day. And we are going to do it for 45 days. After 45 days, we expect people to go and register where they have voted in 2007 general election, because all those stations have been gazetted as centers for voter registration exercise.
So just to repeat that, you can register where you voted if you were a voter.
Very, very important.
Right.
Because we have registered all those, we have gazetted all those stations as centers for voter registration exercise. Now, they will be expected to bring back their old voters card, come with a new ID card, and get a new voters card. Now, after we have done that for 45 days, of course, we're also going to launch electronic voter registration exercise in 18 constituencies on a pilot basis. That will start on the 12th of April, and then it will go on for 40 days. After this voter registration exercise, we are going to stop the exercise and now prepare the provisional voters register, which now will be taken back to the stations for inspection by all those who have registered as voters to check their names, to make sure that they have actually been captured properly for 30 days by law. After that 30 days, we are now going to prepare the final register. Thereafter, we shall be in a position to hold by-elections for both the parliamentary seats and also, most importantly, over 25 civic wards, which are still vacant. And thereafter, again, we shall now be ready to roll out for the referendum.
Let's talk about the fact that Kenyans were traumatized by the last election, 2007. They were shaken. How can we be sure that the issues that we dealt with the Electoral Commission of Kenya, the loopholes have been sealed?
I think it requires a total paradigm shift by all of us as Kenyans, from the political leadership, all the stakeholders in the electoral process, the media, the civil society, and of course the ordinary Mwananchi. We have learned our lessons from after what happened in 2007. Kenya has been a successful multi-party democratic country from 1992, and we have been held up as a beacon of success in this region. And therefore, it was a shame what happened to us after the general election in 2007 and the post-election violence. And I think everywhere we went, even the ordinary Kenyans, we are, and the people whom we have employed in the Electoral Commission, are committed to ensure that we gain back the confidence of everybody in the electoral process. And this requires everybody to think back and say never again.
How within the Commission are you able to ensure that it's not a replica of the ECK? We
have done that by, first and foremost, trying to be very transparent in the way we recruit our members of staff, from the head office all the way to the regional offices, including the polling clerks who are going to register you as a voter tomorrow. And therefore, we have come through a very transparent exercise of getting the integrity of the people who are going to manage the electoral process. And number two, we're also trying to bring in new processes for the electronic voter registration as one way of trying to cut down on the multiple registration of voters. The previous voters roll, I think if you look at the Kriegler report, had indicated that it had over 1 million voters who were either registered twice or were dead. So again, this new technology that we are trying to introduce into the country will help us in cutting down completely the problem of multiple voter registration centers, because we are going to be taking your biometrics, your photographs, your fingerprint, and still be able to prepare a register out of that exercise. So we want to sell this new process to the country. First, we are doing it as a pilot basis for 18 regions, and thereafter, we want to roll out for the whole country, so that by 2012 general election, we should be able to have this integrated.
We've been talking a lot about constitution. The focus really has been constitution for a few weeks now. And we're heading to this referendum. There's every concern, looking at the politics surrounding this right now, that we could end up, God forbid, in a 205 situation. What will the nature of the referendum be? Can you tell us a little bit about that and how we can avoid the divide that we saw in Kenya at that time?
Well, part of the reason why we are doing this voter registration exercise is to be able to enable Kenyans to have the voters card necessary for them to vote in the referendum. And if you look at the law currently in place for the referendum, it requires the Commission to conduct the referendum within 60 days after the Attorney General has published the final draft. Now, once we hold the referendum and people vote, we must, for the Constitution to be enacted, it must garner more than 50% of the votes cast and a majority. So, as a person who has taken part in the constitutional review process before, when I was a member of the Constitution of Kenya Review Commission in CKRC, and from 2000 and 2005, I will say that from my own experience, it is better that we don't go to this referendum when we are still divided, because we'll just go back to 2005 November, and again it appears the same script, different players, maybe the different script, same players. You can say the same thing, but again I hope that what's going on at the political level will produce a consensus, so that we approach the referendum when we are more united. Right. And I hope that the referendum does not become another tool to divide the country.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Remember, you can register, but will you register? We are asking you tonight in our poll question, will you register as a voter? SMS your yes or no response. Start with yes or no with a comment and your name as well. 2442 is the number to use. Stay tuned. We'll give you some of your views and the results at the end of the show.